What's up, everybody? Welcome to Good Morning IWC. I'm your host, Mob Miz. This is your daily source for wrestling news. We come to you Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Feel free to send any questions over to at Mob Squad 508 on X. Well, let's get started here. We had a pretty big weekend in wrestling. Well, not just weekend. We had Collision on Saturday. I didn't come to you yesterday with a show on Monday. I was a little bit under the weather, so we will also have Raw and Collision on this episode. Um, and for me, both shows were just decent. Whichever one you prefer here, I'm not. I mean, I'm not gonna be mad with it. But just to give you the rundown on the Collision episode, so Collision opened up. We had Paul Walterhauser on commentary. He actually did a pretty good job all night. Fletcher defeated Ishii, retained the TNT title. No surprises there. We got an announcement that there was going to be a four-way for whoever wins the fatal four-way would actually go on to Forbidden Door to face Sabre Jr. for his title, which is the IWGP Championship. Um, this seemed a little bit forced. I feel like they could have gave him a better opponent. But the four-way is going to be Hechicero, Daniel Garcia, Lee Moriarty, and Nigel McGuinness. Send in the comments who you believe is going to win this match or who you would prefer to win this match. I'm leaning towards Hechicero, but I have a funny feeling Nigel's going to take this down. After that, Bane squashed the local talent. Once again, no surprises there. I wish they would use Penelope more. Penelope is, I mean, a star waiting to blossom. I think they need to get her going more. Maybe they're waiting for the tag straps. We'll see how that goes. Ricochet defeated Juice with all sorts of help. We had the Gates try to help Ricochet. We also had Big Bill and Keith come out. They have the feud going on with the Bang Bang Gang. So after all this turmoil, Ricochet did end up getting the win. Athena and Tony Storm officially got announced for Forbidden Door. FTR and Stokely had a three-way match or a trios match against some local talent. Went a little bit longer than it should have. Stokely's still pretty hilarious. Obviously, they got the win there. Hechicero then defeated AI Fox. DG was on commentary, so they're playing into that four-way there. We had a Harley Cameron video where it looks like her mask has taken her over. Kind of like the Mask movie with Jim Carrey. Kind of seemed like to me. I'm intrigued to see where this goes. Harley's a treasure for sure. We then had the Triangle of Madness defeat Willow, Tay Mello, and Aminata. A pretty good match. The Triangle of Madness is blossoming, and just the more women that AEW could get on TV, they're loaded right now. All these ladies are killing it. After that, Shibata squashed Casta in less than 5 minutes. He actually shook his hand. I think we're heading towards a Casta babyface turn here. He ended up getting attacked after the match. Him and Shibata got attacked by LFI. Jet Speed made the save. That led into the main event, which was Hangman Page, and Jet Speed versus LFI. This was my match of the night. Good to see LFI in a main event spot. Of course, they lost here. Hangman and Jet Speed defeated them. Regardless, match of the night. Given Collision on a 1 to 10 scale, probably a 6.5 here. Decent show, nothing too bad, nothing too great. Then going on to Monday Night Raw. It opened up with Naomi them letting us know Naomi's not cleared. She will not be having her title match. It then went into Punk kicking off Raw, complaining about the vision. Punk complaining, nothing new there. Dom and El Grande then defeated AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. What are we doing here? Sami Zayn defeated Rusev. This was by DQ. I'm not sure how many people are getting behind Rusev right now. He just seems kind of meh, in my opinion. This one was a surprise, although there was interference from the Kabuki Warriors, which kind of caused it. But Roxy defeated Io Sky. Next, Becky Lynch tapped out Maxine, retaining. Absolutely no surprises there. Punk and LA Knight versus the Bronze. It actually ended in DQ after Seth's interference. That was the main event. main events ending in interference or DQs, I honestly don't like that. But you let me know how you feel. Then we did have the announcement from Pierce that there'll be a fatal four-way at the Clash in Paris for Rollins' title. It's gonna be Rollins, Punk, LA Knight, and Jey Uso. Let me know who you would like to win in the comments. I'm hoping for a Rollins to retain here. Now just to get into it, off of that, actually, let me grade the show. I'm giving this show a 6. Um, I liked Collision a little bit better. There's just a, a few of these things I just, for example, the way the main event ended. There just seemed like there was a lot of interference everywhere in all of these matches. Not much was clean. That's just my personal opinion. You let me know what you think in the comments. Now, getting into a little bit of news. So, Karrion Cross and Scarlett have officially been moved over to the alumni section. Um, I want to know what you guys think in the comments. Is this a work or shoot? I'm leaning into heavy work. I mean, the name of the book, the podcast they had lined up, the promotions they had lined up, it just seems like we're probably gonna see them, maybe wrestle for a couple of places that are partners of WWE or things that get cleared. I don't expect them to go near any company that works with these guys. So I'm fully expected this to be a work. If it isn't, we'll see. I'll gladly admit that I was wrong, but let me know what you think in the comments. Now, outside of this, a couple of re-signings, well, a re-signing and a potential return. Kyle Fletcher signed a big money multi-year deal. I guess it was signed recently. I don't think anybody didn't see this coming, but it was held under wraps. I guess it's been signed for a little bit of time now. Wardlow's also done recording 2 seasons of Gladiators, so I guess they've been talking about a potential AEW return. Where I know there's a lot of people waiting for that. I have a question for you guys. I want to once again put this in the comments. I'd like to know what you prefer, wrestling, entertainment, or a little bit of both. Me, I'm probably about 70-30 on the wrestling side, 70% wrestling, 30% entertainment. I do want to know what you think. Now I seen a little clip. This isn't really news, but I want to give a shout out to Ibu. He won our first podcast. Excuse me, top 200 podcasters tournament. Shout out to him. But I did see a stream with him and Tyrese Halliburton, which I mean that's huge. I seen that he helped Halliburton go viral with his Madison Square Garden moment. So I want to salute to both of them brothers. Ibu's out there working hard. Salute to you. I'm waiting to see you put that next season up for grabs. I want to see who wins the next podcasters tournament. I'm interested to see if you could repeat. Now, off of that, we do have a release. Sad news. Shanti the Adonis has been released. Well, not released. He has been not renewed, so he won't be returning to the WWE as far as we know. We don't believe there's any work involved there. A potential return here, Eddie Kingston. It looks like he's getting ready to return to AEW. That's going to be a huge boost whenever they could get it back on TV. They're missing a ton of talent right now. They're so stacked, you don't even realize how much talent they're missing. I do want to get into a few little funny situations because I seen this online where I remember it was going around where Triple H had brought back all these people and he had the Infinity Stones. And I know you guys remember the picture, and that picture consists of about 20 people. About 4 or 5 of them are still in the company. So, um, yeah, a lot of those re-signings or people that Triple H brought back. I don't hear many people talking about it, but they're all absolute duds. Not that they're not good wrestlers, but he loaded them back up to do absolutely nothing with them and then send them back to the market. I really don't understand that. I do also want to get into Bret Hart a little bit. Man, this man has been so disgruntled. Um, we understand the Goldberg stuff, and I truly feel for him and sympathetic. And Bret Hart was one of my favorites. Um, But at this point, man, he has to stop the complaining. It's went from Goldberg to him complaining about everything. Wrestling's changed. I know you like your style. You're the biggest fan of yourself. It doesn't mean that everybody needs to wrestle like Bret Hart in 2025. It just doesn't. And I get your opinion, but everybody wrestling like you probably wouldn't make wrestling better. That's just my opinion. You're one dimensional, Brett. We like people want diversity in wrestling, all different types of wrestlers. They don't want a bunch of Bret Harts. So I digress. There is people that are working your style. I mean, CM Punk's still out there. There's guys out there still working your style. We don't want all of them working your style. Sorry, Brett, but you just got to chill out. Now off of Bret Hart, on to some good news. I don't have the exact details in front of me, so I won't break it down, but I know it's the bag. Um, UFC and Paramount brokered a deal. The UFC and TKO is working right now. From the WWE deals to the UFC deals, I mean, billions are being thrown everywhere. So I do want to give a big shout out to them. Well deserved. And I'm interested to see going forward. I mean, I have Paramount. Let's go. Now, a couple of shout outs, and we're pretty much almost getting ready to get out of here. These first few episodes throughout the week are typically short. Feature Fridays, when I have the feature on, is typically when we go about an hour because it's, an interview on top of everything else we're doing with the wrestling news. But the last few things I'm gonna go over here. So let me get up the card here. Um, One second. So Forbidden Door is starting to shape up. We do know that there was a lot of complaints in the beginning. That the card wasn't shaping up or didn't have enough New Japan wrestlers, and it was more AEW versus AEW. But here's the updated card now. It is starting to get a little bit more diverse with other companies. So we got Swerve Strickland versus Okada. That's still going down. We got Athena versus Tony Storm. We got the Hurt Syndicate going against either Brodito or FTR. We got the four-way for the TBS title, which is so far Monet and Alex Windsor. We won't figure out the other two women for a little bit now. And then we got Zack Sabre Jr. going against the winner of this fatal four-way, which was Daniel Garcia, Nigel McGuinness, Hechicero, and Lee Moriarty. I think they could have did better, but we'll see who that goes. And Kyle Fletcher also put out an open challenge for the TNT title for anyone in New Japan. So that should be interesting as well. Now, as for a few questions that I've seen or topics that I've seen online that I want to go over, shout out to Ace Humphreys. I've seen this idea with him. Um, he posted, I believe, his top 4 high flyers. It was a great list. I believe it was Rey Mysterio, Rob Van Dam. Let me actually pull this up so I could get more accurate on it. I don't want to misquote something that he said. But yeah, even I don't know if I'll be able to find it. But here we go. So Rey Mysterio, Will Ospreay, AJ Styles, and Rob Van Dam. Hell of a list. I want to know your thoughts on the top 4 high flyers of all time. I'll post mine on the next video or by Friday. So let me know what you think. That's an amazing list. And I mean, it's gonna be tough to beat that, but I want to know what you guys think. Now, I do also have a question that was sent in. One second here. And it's going to be from one of our Twitter brothers, Twitter family, Stampede. Follow him on Twitter. That's at Stampede _ISM. I'm sure you're probably familiar with him if you're in the IWC. Now, what his question was is, when Vince was in full control of the WWE, he had the mind state of being invincible, untouchable. That ended with drastic consequences. Yes, it did. Has the new regime adopted the same mindset, especially with their recent actions and rhetoric? I'm gonna say Right now, it's looking like it has. And this isn't, I want to make sure I clarify this. This isn't a Triple H thing or the typical names that people would blame. If they have adopted that rhetoric, and if they adopted that same mind state, it's because TKO. And I guess it comes down to one word, which would be greed. Now, a lot of businesses will put bottom dollar first, so you got to remember that. Um, I don't think that, because it's more of a conglomerate of people. Vince was an egomaniac, and I feel like he had pull to do certain things by himself, so he maybe could be a little bit more sinister. But I do believe their mind states align, just maybe a little bit more toned down. But the main word being greed here, I do believe they may have adopted it. In this, I'm talking about TKO. I'm not talking about Triple H, so I don't want nobody, attacking me or thinking I'm talking about Triple H or anything down that road. This is strictly would be a TKO thing. But when companies are throwing billions and billions of dollars at you, probably hard to not be greedy and want more. But that's a great question, Stampede. But I would say 60-40. Yes, they have. Now, before we get out of here, I want to do a couple of shout outs. I guess first we'll start off with Stampede. Shout out to you. Thank you for the question. Shout out to Ace for putting that high flyers thing out there and catching my attention. Um, I also want to shout out the Elite Mob, Took Timbo, Turnbuckle TG, and myself. I also want to shout out Chair Shot Sports. We couldn't do it without you guys. That's shouting out John Anthony, Big Mike, and all the rest of the family. I also want to shout out Suds. I want to shout out Spedrock. Um, and I mean, everybody we've been working with, Lady Alpha, Jess, Matt Trigger. Sorry for anybody that I'm forgetting. I will give all of you shout outs eventually. I promise that. Um, but yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm sorry if this episode feels a little rushed. Next episode, I'll go a little bit more all in, but make sure all of you have a blessed day. Now, remember, I'm a Prince Nana Coffee affiliate. The QR code is right there. Anything you purchase sends 10% back to my podcast. I do appreciate that. Make sure you follow at Chairshot Sports on X, on Twitter. Same with me at Mob Squad 508 on X, on Twitter, on YouTube as well. Now, this show is brought to you by the Elite Mob, Prince Nana Coffee, also Chairshot Sports. Now, don't forget, before I almost left without telling you this, we're here Monday through Friday. Good morning, IWC, typically at 10 a.m., sometimes a little later. On Tuesday, don't forget to head over to Chairshot Sports for NXT Rewind with me and John Anthony, where we go over NXT following the show. Also, Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern, the Elite Mob podcast, me, Turnbuckle TG, and I Took Timbo have dynamite discussions. Now, feel free to send any questions over for any of these shows. And everybody that's going to tune in, thank you. Make sure you have a wonderful day. I salute and respect all of you guys.